Turning may sound like a simple driving procedure, but when you're making those turns from behind the wheel of a large commercial motor vehicle, it can be one of the most difficult procedures. This video will provide some useful and practical safety tips to help you avoid accidents while turning. There are 5 basic steps to making a safe turn. Step 1 is signaling. It's important to broadcast your movements to the other vehicles around you. This is especially important in large commercial vehicles where right rear visibility may be severely limited. Signal well in advance of your turn to give others sufficient time to react accordingly, but not so early as to cause confusion. In most states, that's a minimum distance of 100 feet. Step 2 is looking. Scan the intersection as you approach, and look where you intend to move your vehicle to help plan your turn. Be mindful and patient whenever it comes to oncoming traffic, and be sure to take note of parked vehicles, poles, and other stationary objects that can affect your ability to turn. Also be cognizant of off-tracking, and that the rear wheels will take a shorter path around the turn. It's especially important to be on the lookout for pedestrians, who may step into the street after seeing the front wheels go by, without paying attention to the rear. Step 3 is positioning. Choose your lane correctly, and enter it early enough that you don't create a hazard as you approach the turning area. On a left turn with 2 left turn lanes, select the rightmost lane to minimize the left side blind spot, and give ample space for your vehicle's tail swing. On a right-hand turn, position your vehicle in the lane nearest to the right-hand curb. Step 4 is speed control. Maintain a reasonably slow enough speed to make the safest turn possible, and be prepared to come to a complete stop if necessary. Step 5 is execution, the actual movement of the turn. Here's where things get a little tricky. Keep in mind that even if you don't make any mistakes, you may have to compensate for the mistakes of other drivers. When making a left turn, yield to oncoming traffic in the opposite direction, and cyclists, pedestrians, and vehicles turning right into the same road that you are entering. Also, don't move until traffic in front of you has cleared the intersection. Bring the front of the vehicle to the center of the intersection and keep your vehicle's wheels straight until you begin the actual turn, always being mindful of your vehicle's tail end swing. Laws regarding which lanes you can turn left into when there is only one left turn lane or no separate left turn lane vary from state to state. If more than one left turning lane exists, turn into the lane which corresponds to the lane from which you are turning, being careful not to drift into the other turn lane. Also, beware of wide and long vehicles in adjacent turn lanes. When making a right turn, it's important to avoid button hook turns, or turns in which the vehicle moves wide to the left before executing the turn. Though this gives you additional space to turn, it blocks another lane of traffic, greatly diminishes your right rear visibility, and can confuse other drivers into thinking you're turning left, possibly resulting in an accident. Instead, use a straddle turn, in which you position your vehicle no more than 4 feet from the curb or parked cars to your right, and maintain that distance throughout your turn. This should compensate for tail swing, and prevent you from crossing the center line without losing visibility. Speaking of right turns, keep in mind that right on red is restricted in some areas. When it's permitted, you must first come to a complete stop to check for traffic and pedestrians before turning. Last but certainly not least, do not attempt to turn if you cannot do so safely using the available space. Instead, select an alternate route. Let's review the 5 basic steps to making a safe turn. Step 1. Signaling. Step 2. Looking. Step 3. Positioning. Step 4. Speed control. Step 5. Executing the turn. Reviewing these 5 steps on a regular basis can help drivers avoid accidents, especially when they are routinely making turns in heavy traffic areas, such as major cities. Thank you for watching Lancer's Turning Safely video. If you have any questions, please contact our customer service department.